All right. So I'm on excuse me. I'm on a video recording spree now, and I must say, let me introduce myself. My name is Candace, and I am starting my YouTube blog online. It's something I always wanted to do, but just didn't have the time to do. And I wanted to give my little background story. So the subject of this video is my journey to video blogging. So recently, I, during the week of this lockdown, I've discovered myself a little more. I've been spending time with God more. I've really come to say, I'm just going to just be free, just let go, and just do what I believe God's putting in my heart to do. And I do believe one of the things for me to be doing is going into social media and being present in that way. Beforehand, I'll start this way. With my life being so busy in the past few years, I moved to Philadelphia a few years ago, back in 2014 to 2015. And so, coming from the country, growing up in the rural South, coming from that type of environment to a large metropolitan city was a shocker. So, after staying in Philadelphia for a few years, I was just dealing with urban burnout. I was exhausted all the time from the overstimulation, the noise pollution, the air pollution. Just the constant had to be extra careful because I was living in North Philadelphia at the time, and as they have a lot of crime happening there, so you have to be really, really, really careful. I mean, crime can happen anywhere, but that was one of the areas where it would happen the most. And so I had to constantly look over my shoulder. It was just all the stress added on top of me, on top of being in college after I left my job in 2017. So again, I moved up here in 2014, 2015. I started working right away when I moved, and I was at the job for about 2.5 years, and I saw that it just wasn't the fit for me. So I left the job in summer of 2017, and then I signed up to go to art school. I'll start out at Temple University. I love Temple, like I love how it's like love the history of it. And and Temple's known for their fine arts. They're known for their fine arts, their soft sciences, and their business school. And they're known for like the sports management program, anything like kinesiology, and their medical school. They're known for. It's a great school. However, it wasn't the right fit for me. So I then transferred over to Drexel, and Drexel was a better fit for me because I'm more of a hard sciences and math. I'm more of a hard math and sciences person, and that's one of Drexel's many strengths. They are an applied sciences. They're like an applied arts and sciences school, so that was more my learning style. So I get there, and again, I still was in art school, and it was still like rush, rush, rush. It was constantly a rush because I was still living in the city, and I was balancing college. College is hard in itself, and then on top of that, I was in art and design school, which is one of the, believe it or not, one of the hardest majors you can take in college because it is so time consuming. And not only that, you're having to build things from scratch. There is no textbook teaching you how to do these things. You have to go by your own instinct and learn how to design for what you have inside yourself. So, with all that being said, all of that was hard enough. Then I am a non-traditional student. I have a previous degree, but I decided to change jobs because I didn't want to work in mental health anymore. I have a degree in psychology. So I decided to switch to the art and design field, and I loved it at first, but I did not realize how strictly digital it is now. And with me not being a digital native, it was hard to get anything done. Number one, like I mentioned before, college is very challenging in itself. Just the lifestyle in itself is very challenging. Number two, I was in art and design. That's like two layers on top. So you got these two things on top. And then to make matters worse, like I said, I had to spend extra time outside of our 16 hours a week classwork for each class on average. On top of that, I was trying to teach myself how to use the program, and it was just not working. Like, I had no time to do anything else. It was like I would come home exhausted. I would be in the lab late all kinds of hours. It was just a crazy mess. And like when you go to art design school, you basically have no life. Like, I understand what we being in college, like my social life was limited. But I didn't think they meant like you had no life. They mean that's exactly what they mean. So I was tied down with that work. I was missing out on a lot of family events, missing out on church events, just a lot of stuff. I mean, if anyone heard from me for weeks, I was just that busy. I was just that tired. When the weekends came, if I could get a little bit of sleep in, I was crashing. So this past term, I decided to change my major because it just was not working. I was unhappy because I didn't have that job satisfaction. I couldn't keep up with the classes because I didn't understand the digital part of it. I mean, if you're talking about the students, the college age kids now that are like in their like 18, 19, 20, the they call themselves the Zoomers, the Generation Z. See, they're coming in already with this digital know-how, with this digital knowledge because they are digital natives. They were born in the digital age where I was already like an adult, you know. I mean, these kids were born when I was basically leaving high school, so that's a whole generation. It's a whole like almost 20 years apart almost, and so it's like whoa. So, um, when you look at their way of life, it just clicks for them. You know, they need to know how to design. And that was the thing. I knew how to design on paper really well. My teacher saw that. The director over the graphic design program at Drexel saw that. He was like, "You have good strengths." He said, "But where you missing out on is like, if you don't know the digital right now, you're gonna have a hard time finding a job." And so we had talked or whatever. And so I'm glad he brought that up because I don't want to be out there struggling and can't find a job and then really be struggling with bills and everything else. So I'm grateful to God that He pointed that out to me and really suggested that I change my major. And so now here we are. I have changed my major to marketing and business. And I must say, the first week of school, the first week of school, I had a blast. I can now tell about the schoolwork. I will easily get it. It clicked. The only thing is now I'm waiting on the VA to transfer my major over. That'll probably take a few weeks, I understand. But I know that's going to get approved because I prayed about it and I felt a peace about it, so that's that. Um, but I can tell everything just like clicked immediately. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is the right major for me. And the best part about this major, it's still a lot of work. I know this is the first 2 weeks in that Drexel. The first 2 weeks is like, and then the third week is like, bam, you're like in crunch time all the way until week 10. So the first 2 weeks, they kind of like, you're a little bit at ease because they know you got to get adjusted to a new schedule every 10 weeks. So it's I understand. But the third week is like crunch time. There's no stopping until week 10. So 7 weeks, you're like in crunch mode the whole time. So, um, with that being said, even though it's a lot of work, I have a lot more time to do things. I have more time now to finish move in. I have moved in the last week of December last year, and I'm still don't have the place exactly how I want it. Um, I had to purge a lot of things, do a spiritual house cleaning, get everything out. So it's taking me a while to buy everything that I need back. And I was like, God told me to start fresh, so that's what I did. So, like I said, I have more time to get my life together while in school. And for an older adult, that is very valuable. Because the older you get, you realize you don't get time back. So, with that being said, this is what led me to now in the wake of this lockdown. I really was spending time with God to ask God, what should I be doing? What, cause I just wasn't finding fulfillment in art school like I thought I would, because it just wasn't the right thing for me. I still love graphic design. I still love art, but that's something I need to like learn on my own at my own pace to enjoy it. And so, I feel fulfilled by doing these blogs online. I really enjoy sharing my life with you because maybe some of you are going through the same thing I went through, or about to go through, or just went through it and want to share. So I love sharing. So, um, so that's my story of what led me to blogging online. I prayed about it, and I feel like people should hear my story. And I'm starting a project. I won't get into too much detail because I want to make sure it goes smoothly as well. Because you know how the enemy is. The enemy will try to come in and screw things up if you see too much before it happens. So, with that note, I'm not going to spread too much detail about what I'm doing. But I do enjoy blogging online. Um, it's a release for me. People get to see that, there are real people online, no filter. So this is what led me to blogging, and that's my story. I went from moving to Pennsylvania to working a job. I got tired with that. Then went to art school. Art school was very time consuming and can be very draining, especially for an older student that already has an established life and responsibilities and bills and everything else. To now, in the wake of this shutdown, the lockdown, I'm really starting to find like what should I be doing that fulfills me and makes me happy, and the blogging is one of it. So I want to say I hope you enjoy my blog. Thank you for watching, and don't be afraid to check out my other videos. I'll be posting soon. Things about my discussion about Bernie Sanders versus Joe Biden voters. I thought that would be kind of interesting. And in my first video I posted was about be careful who ministers over you in the church. Yes, everybody's a child of God, but that doesn't mean everybody's at the same spiritual level that you are. So you gotta be careful. So I think that would be a great video for some of you. And again, thank you for watching. I hope you had a wonderful Passover/Resurrection Day. Let's honor the fact that Jesus Christ, He has risen. He is alive. And that's an everyday thing that we should always think about. So again, thank you for watching. I'm going to go grab some water because I've been talking for a while now. And thank you again for watching, and have a good night.